Evening people, hope everyone's good. So, a mixed bag I suppose. I've been running a few premieres etc, certain things have come up. Now, it's a bit of a mad one realistically. Danny West has pointed me to a couple of posts. I didn't actually know that Danny's channel was like an active channel or whatever, sharing things and putting things up and alluding people to certain things that are going on in the past up to present day. Now, it's one of them. I know that Danny West was around quite a long way back, enough to observe a lot of the stuff that was going on with the King's Flag stuff and all that kind of time period and whatever. I'd say quite an avid follower and supporter of CMW, going back quite a long time and whatever. I've never really had an issue with Danny, to be honest. I think, like many people, he's been sucked into certain things and whatnot. At the time where I think everything's gone a little bit to shit is the time period where Mandy Mosley and that infiltrating bunch of rats or whatever was feeding people, spoon feeding people nonsense, helped by Wendy, people like Wendy and whatever, platforming and protecting the shit or whatever. So if I wanted to jump on there and question the narrative or the bullshit or whatever, I was just blocked or whatever. Now, I'm aware that Kayleigh was also blocked. A lot of people have got Kayleigh down as an absolute wrong'un or whatever. Now, I know that's not the case. I know people will be going, oh, but this and that, and I get it. But Kayleigh was never always like that. Kayleigh was driven to being like that. Now, I can pull out loads of lives where myself and Kayleigh have done lives and whatever, where it's been very structured, it's been very, do you know what I mean, done the right way and whatever. Just that one off the top of my head, exposing Hope Not Hate or whatever, the grifting side of it and the dodgy shit they've been doing along the way and whatever. Now, I'll be honest, Kayleigh did, I'd say, most of the research behind all that or whatever. I think, well, I know Kayleigh would admit, yes, she's been sucked into shit in the past and whatever, which has not done her much good and whatever. But so was many other good people sucked into it. Do you know what I mean? You've had veterans sucked into the same things or whatever. So realistically, if you're going to go down that road of, oh, you know, because Kayleigh's been involved in X, Y or Z, then she's forever a wrong'un, I'm not going to agree with that. If you have to agree with that, that means you have to say, oh well, Simon Bean was pulled into the same things, and you know, veterans across the board, and there was fucking many of, you know, they must all be wrong'uns or whatever, because at one point in time they was involved with X, Y or Z. Now, I've got enough life experience to know that people can be used, sometimes manipulated, sometimes in cases like Jupiter's blackmailed. Sometimes it's none of that. It's just literally they believe what they believe because of what they've been shown, and they want to help, support, promote, whatever, to bring light to whatever cause or situation that may be. Now, people do that out of the goodness of the heart, and if you've been supporting something, pushing something, promoting something, the deeper you've been into it, and let's say you've been into something for 9 months, like Kaylee was around that King's Flag thing or whatever, do you know what I mean? The first time I have a chat with that person, they're still going to be of the opinion, because that's the narrative they was served, or it's, you know, it's Group A against Group B. Do you know what I mean? Like, anything they say, it's just going to be a lie, it's just going to be this, that and the other. You got to think Andy Devine was coming out with the wildest shit, making out that anyone that is against their bullshit or whatever, you're all GCHQ, MI5, fucking Hoaxdead trolls, you name it, you was it or whatever. Now, when you've been smack bang in the middle of that, and you've spoke to people like Kayla from one side, you spoke to people on the polar opposite side of that, which is Danny Jones, all you can go off is what drives these people to say and do what they've been saying and doing. Now, anyone can add 2 and 2 up and come up with 5 if you're being spoon-fed bullshit. And Kaylee has admitted, yeah, you know, she got it wrong. She thought Andy Devine and all that King's Flag wanker shit, they thought it was genuine, blah blah blah. Like I say, so many veterans believed it and got behind it and was willing to storm Parliament because of it. So what we should just all keep smacking Kaylee around the head with an hammer? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's morally right. I don't think it's sensible or whatever. To do that and to hold that line, you've got to go, right, alright, well, anybody and everybody that supported that, we've got to give them all that same line of, you know, we've got to hit them all around the head with an hammer or whatever. Anyone can make a mistake, anyone can fuck up. It's what you do afterwards, realistically, that matters. Now, a lot of people that got sucked into that shit or whatever just walked away, stayed silent, walked away. Probably was quite gutted that they've invested time and possibly money into something or whatever. Now, a lot of people have made out, oh, Kaylee's a scammer, blah blah blah. Show us any evidence where she's ever made a single penny from that scam. I'll beat you to it. The only thing she's ever had money-wise, financial-wise, is money for a phone bill when it was a load of phone calls that was being made to, I think it was Australia or some shit like that, and it was quite a high phone bill. That was the only thing that financial that she's gained from that whole situation. The only thing that she's come away from that situation with, other than having a phone bill paid for, is years and years and years of people hitting around the head with a hammer. Now, like I said at the time, the amount of people that come away from it and was given many opportunities to clean up that situation on rude awakening, etc., is, do you know what I mean? The list is massive or whatever. But apparently Kaylee is not to be given them options or whatever. I was told under no certain circumstances from certain people, not all, some people believe the same way that I did and whatever, that yeah, everybody has to be given the same opportunity. Now, because of that, it caused a rift in the group, and I was already aware of lies that had been told by Danny Jones, later on Eric, and lies covered for by AJ and Victoria West. Now, I had an open, honest conversation with AJ. I had some sort of conversation, but no, I did, yeah, on a hangout. So I've had a conversation with Victoria West, I've had a conversation with AJ Tyler, who basically agreed with me and said, yeah, you know, certain things have been said and done or whatever, but because Danny's a handy guy or whatever, technology wise, all of a sudden, you know, we should like just move over it or whatever. Now, when massive lies have been told, I can't just ignore that. That goes against every fibre in my body or whatever to just go along with the nonsense. It's been that way forever or whatever, and that will never change. So it's one of them. Myself and AJ have had a discussion, and he's literally said, you know, I agree with what you're saying and whatever, blah blah blah, and certain things shouldn't have been, you know, said when it's not true, or vice versa, whatever. Basically all the shit that come out of Danny or whatever. If he wouldn't have told fucking mistruths and fucking outright lies or whatever, I would have never had to pull him on that shit. Now, when we was exposing the King's Flag lot, Danny Jones, followed by AJ, followed by Victoria. No, Danny Jones, then Victoria West, then AJ Tyler. All they brought realistically to exposing the scammers is just like things that they recorded along the way and whatever, previous scams that they've been involved in other countries, etc. And a simple court order to this fucking Hampstead case or whatever. Now, we wasn't exposing a Hampstead case. There was nothing to do with the Hampstead case. We were exposing and shutting down scammers, which was targeting veterans in the UK. That's it. That's all it was. Now, Danny Jones, when he come trying to infiltrate what we're doing, at the time it was one of them, it could have been took either way. Do you know what I mean? Most people are against scammers, whether you're left or right or whatever. Generally, the line will be, you know, everybody really supports the veterans. Now, nobody wants to see the veterans get used or abused, or possibility of going in prison or anything like that. No one wants to see that happen or whatever. Now, when I was asked to check out Danny Jones and whatever, I checked back fucking years or whatever, and I came back to CMW and I said, well, you've asked me to check him out. I've checked him out. Very obviously a lefty. Seems to be against anyone on the right or anyone with solutions, people like constitutional awareness groups and all this kind of thing. Just trying to mock everything and make a mockery of things or whatever. And we had a chat, myself and CMW had a chat or whatever, and said, well, you know, we can entertain him and see where he tries to sort of navigate us to or whatever. You know, we can always expose him down the road or whatever. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the platforming that Danny Jones had at the time was on a show called The After Dark Show, Flow Destroyer After Dark Show. On that show there was, like I say, trying to make a mockery of anything constitutional law groups and all that kind of thing. So he, you know what I mean? His entry line of, oh, you know, we support everything you're doing, blah, 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 this, that and the other, that was pure bullshit. That was tickling your balls to, do you know what I mean, to try and fucking manipulate the situation to think, oh, you know, this guy supports us. I'd already checked it out. I've already checked him out going back years or whatever. So we knew everything he was saying was just really bullshit anyway. We knew that as fact. But like I say, we wanted to see where he was going to try and lead us. And at the end of the day, once you're armed with the evidence, and from the very first footsteps, you're recording and documenting everything, anything that's been said, messaged, said in words, said in private, everything's documented, then there is no point in time where these people can then make you look the cunt, because it's one of them. You've seen it coming, you documented everything. You know at some point you're probably going to be exposing them, not the other way around. So it's one of them. When you've got a good track history or whatever, you can, you know what I mean, you can afford to take a bit of flack from people that, do you know what I mean, they're not really important or whatever. CMW, etc. have shown their worth across the movement. You know what I mean? There's countless examples of them showing their worth. They're the people that went and did the confronting. Sadiq Khan, all these other wankers and whatever, doing the citizens arrest. Now, they've helped out the veterans countless amounts of times. They've helped out patriots. They've helped out random people. You name it. All they've done is help people out for years, and they do it for nothing. So it's one of them. When Danny Jones did this and whatever, it was just one of them. The little bits of information they did bring, and the main information came from AJ, it turns out. But like I say, do you know what I mean? We'd literally already flat packed and destroyed most of it. It was just the kicking and screaming bit at the end, which always happens when you destroy someone. They always do a lot of kicking and screaming at the end. It's normal. That's when they kind of entered or whatever. Now, it was done like, oh, you know, as a side note, you know, they're also pushing this or whatever, which was the Hoaxstead thing. Now, the way he did it was sneaky, like, you know, we're only here because of this, but, you know, this is a side note, you could use this or whatever. And he made out that anybody that even talks about that case, which has gone on all the present, whatever, on G-Block, on fucking, you name it, it's not really a panel that it's not been discussed on. Now, according to Danny, his version of events is you could all go on a paedophile register just for discussing it. Yeah? Does that make sense? Does it really? And then you've had Eric say, oh, you know, there's 3 people just off the top of my head or whatever which have gone on paedophile registers because of this case. Now, that's not true. That's not true at all. None of the people named have been on a paedophile fucking register or whatever. Matt Taylor was one of them. Jake was another one of them. So you got to think back then to where we are now. So if anyone has been put on anything since, that's different or whatever. But at the time, Had any of these people been put on a sex offenders register? No, they hadn't. Now, when I questioned Danny with all this and whatever, obviously he's had an allergic reaction. Started going on, oh, we've got all these recordings, we're going to put all this shit out, we're going to embarrass you all, blah, blah, blah. Now, he probably had made recordings and whatever. You can go over them as much as you want. There's nothing on there you can pull out on us. Do you know what I mean? We've not told no lies. We've not done anything that you can show us up for. That's why he's never brought anything out. Now, me on the other hand, I've put loads out. I've put fucking hours and hours and hours of shit out or whatever. And I've made them all look like shit cunts. To the point where all they have left is, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to dox this, we're going to do this, we're going to attack whatever, we're going to make your son famous, we're going to fucking take his job, we're going to fucking put his Facebook out there, we're going to do all this shit, put his number up. And all this shit was facilitated by the likes of Wake Up UK. Because, well, Wake Up UK was the person that sent AJ Tyler, Danny Jones and Victoria West to the situation. Now, as people are aware, AJ admitted that, Danny admitted that. They both said, oh, well, we were spoon-fed shit. Now we've checked out things for ourselves. They ended up turning on Jason Tyler, Wake Up UK, whatever. To the point where AJ was attacking Wake Up UK over many videos. Danny Jones exposed Wake Up UK over, I think it was 3 different lives or whatever. So it's one of them. Considering these people have been enrolled by them and then sent to me or whatever, the poison in the well, if you like, is the moment Umbrella came away from it and she were to be given that the same fucking opportunities as everybody else had been allowed or whatever. Now, the closest we got to a resolve was after a conversation with AJ. He was saying, well, if you think anything, she's a decent person and blah, 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 this, that and the other, the best thing you could do is just leave her to it, leave her alone and just observe from a distance. Now, I didn't think that was fair. I still don't think that would be fair. A lot of the shit that was put out from Danny Jones and AJ and whatever against Kayla was just fabricated nonsense. You know what I mean? They had people believing that Kayla was feeding bleach to her kids and all sorts of fucked up shit. They've gone proper deep into her family, all sorts of shit. You know what I mean? Well beyond what's reasonable or whatever. Considering all the other people that came away from that scam, all the other people that was fucking involved in that scam, front runners of that scam, why should Kayla be the only target, realistically? Now, I don't like injustice or whatever, I really don't. And because of that, I stuck to my guns. I thought, nah, if you don't like it, then you fuck off or whatever. You go and do what you're going to do or whatever. And I told people that I give a fuck about in that group, because of all this now or whatever, I'm literally going to, walk Kayla through whatever in the next foreseeable fucking few months, a year, whatever, because I can see all the shit that she's getting. I want to try and keep her on the right track and get her involved in things worth her time and whatever, because I knew at the end of the day her heart is in the right place. You know what I mean? It's easy to turn somebody's milk sour when you're continuously getting attacked and used and fucking dragged into things, and she was. I can show that, I can document that. Well, it's been documented, I can show all this. Now, when you've got the main fucking person in the middle, Wake Up UK, that is literally playing everybody off each other and just thinks it's funny to watch the world burn or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's mad to think that people, even this far forward, after being exposed by all of Team Tommy, Glenn Zaffer, Ginger Toner, has exposed these people a long time ago, along with myself. The amount of stuff I could pull out is unbelievable, and that's why I've said from day one, you will never get Team Tommy confronting me with anything, because they know what I'm saying is correct. They know that as fact. Now, it was Glenn Zaffer, a private chat with myself and Glenn Zaffer and Ginger Tony and all this kind of thing, that we decided, do you know what I mean, Kaylee's actually worth giving a chance to. Anyone can be used, anyone can be manipulated. And then since then we did lots of stuff exposing Hope Not Hate. Kaylee travelled 7 hours to the Telford demo, you name it, you know what I mean, it was done or whatever. Kaylee's done a lot more, Patriot wise, considering she did come from the left, than fucking fat fucking Jupiter or whatever. Do you know what I mean? All she's done is cause continual problems, continual drama, stabbing everyone in the back. Do you know what I mean? So, and she's spent half that time or whatever against Tommy. Oh, Tommy's a grifter, Tommy's this, Tommy's that, rah, along with a fucking weird old mate Wendy or whatever. So all Jupiter's done realistically is a little fucking U-turn in the road or whatever, because you can see now, you know, it's now acceptable to be, let's say, on the right or whatever, and exposing all this shit that's going on. It's a lot easier now than it ever was. You know what I mean? It's light work, fucking fighting the good fight or whatever. Years ago it weren't that case at all. It was fucking hard work or whatever. So any Johnny come latelys like Jupiter, realistically, that's done a fucking, you know, a change in the last couple of years or whatever, generally, do you know what I mean, it doesn't really sit right. It doesn't really sit right. For me, it's just one of them. Yeah, people can change their mind, this, that and the other, but some people are just doing it for the, you can tell when Jupiter's talking about, someone else pointed it out today, when she's going on about abuse victims and this, that and the other, do you know what I mean, you can tell by her voice or whatever, she's got no empathy for these girls. Look at the way she was ripping into a victim of a grooming gang or whatever, because it was to do with Shield or whatever. Her and Wendy sat there laughing and giggling away or whatever at abuse. So these people are scumbags, do you know what I mean? I'll rate Kaylee all day long over the likes of Wendy or Jupiter or Moon or any of these other fucking fake fucking drama infiltrating rats or whatever. All day long. Kaylee, all day long. Now, I get it. Kaylee's said a lot of mad shit or whatever. A lot of it since Jake came out, I might add. Do you know what I mean? Don't know whether that's influence that's not helpful or whatever. That's for Kaylee to decide, I don't know. Now, I am going to put a live out from back then or whatever. I spoke to Danny West on comments today, and I don't know. I think there's a slight difference in timelines or whatever, and it's that near the you know, it's that near the border of timelines. It could really be either. Now, I remember having a couple of conversations with Umbrella before she kind of took the time to examine what was being said, realised she couldn't confront what was being said with anything because there was nothing substance-wise that they could use or whatever. We were sat on the facts, they were sat on bullshit. Now, if you've been spoon-fed bullshit and made the poster girl of that group or whatever, which she was, do you know what I mean? You're just assuming, if you've not really dug into things, and you've seen what happens when people do ask things, they just get fobbed off. Andy will say, oh, I don't know, you'll have to ask John. And John will say, oh, I don't know, you'll have to ask Andy. And no one ever gets the answers that they actually require. That's why they was running so hard from having the open, honest discussion. They dragged Tracy Blackwell and James Goddard into it. They was running full steam ahead with it and shitting all over anyone that fucking went against it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? These people, including Wake Up UK, wanted veterans to storm Parliament based on nonsense, bullshit, just a scam with a fucking storyline to it and a scrapbook of nonsense. Now, as you'll see with the live that I'm going to put forward or whatever, I may put a few up just so people can get fucking grips of the thing or whatever. People like Jupiter that sat back going, oh, Den's a lefty, Den's a plant. You look like the biggest wanker on the planet. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. And again, this is why you will never have Team Tommy confront me on anything, because you know I won't speak out on shit unless I've got the fucking facts and the evidence. Do you know what I mean? Everything I've said and done along the way for the many years that I've fucking been doing it or whatever, I've been justified, I've been fucking proven time and time again to be bang on the fucking money. So, yeah, it is what it is. People like Wake Up UK, always in the middle, always instigating, always doing these dirty ass tactics and dirty tricks and whatever. Do you know what I mean? For people to still have that cunt around now, all this further forward, I'm sorry, but you're really suspect. All of you are just really suspect. Anyone that even talks to that cunt on a comment section, I'm sorry, but you're a bit wonky. That's why anytime that cunt enters the room or whatever on a comment section, I'll always say the same thing. Oh shit, Wake Up UK, hide your kids. I'm not saying it for the fun of it, because this cunt will dox your children. Do you know what I mean? He doxed my eldest lad, put his fucking Facebook pictures up, fucking all the shit on your Facebook, where you work, where you live, your phone number, your fucking even down to your favourite film. Oh look, his favourite film's American History X. He's a Nazi. Okay. I'd invite you all to go and watch American History X. Tell me if you think that makes you a Nazi. Now, when they have to go to these lengths and these dirty tricks and whatever, it only takes you so far. The problem is, there's always a fresh supply of useful idiots. Now, Jupiter and Wendy, they was the useful idiots. After all of Wake Up UK's support and whatever disappeared and just dissolved into nothing, when it was formerly known as, what was it called? Right Unity. That's why he had to change the name and try and do the same thing as he's done before or whatever under the name of Wake Up UK, because he disgraced his brand. That's fact. That is fact. But these people will keep doing the same shit. They don't learn from any mistakes or whatever, because for some people like Jason Tyler, who's hid his genuine identity for a long time, that's why he ran away. Glenn Zaffer tried to arrange face-to-face, only on camera, with myself, Glenn Zaffer and Jason Tyler, and just go over things or whatever. Jason ran away from that. And I said to him, if you do it, I'll put all my ID up, I'll put all my criminal history up, you can fucking use it, do what you fucking want with it. I don't care, I've got nothing to be ashamed of. Do you know what I mean? And he still ran away from it. So realistically, that told us all we need to know realistically. So for the people running about putting, oh, his name's this, his name's that, blah blah blah. realistically, we'll never know. It's another Esau, you'll never know. I don't think the pictures that have been put on that Facebook account that people have been passing around, that Danny Jones thought I'd give a fuck about. Oh, I've got pictures of his kids. What? Why have you got pictures of his kids? Do you know what I mean? I don't believe any of that. I really don't. I genuinely don't believe any of that. Anyone can manufacture bullshit or whatever. If you're coming into this situation to cause a load of problems and fucking set each other on each other to the point where violence will get delivered, I could bring up many accounts where stupid, misguided fools have ended up wanting to come confront me or whatever, and it's never ended well. People that know fucking know. This is why I laugh when people are, oh, you know, trying to get hold of this, trying to get hold of that. Even if you could get hold of my name, even if you could get hold of my address, I could invite you now and it ain't going to make no difference, because you ain't going to do shit. You're going to do everything that the other people have done, is fail miserably and end up looking like cunts. Simple as that. I don't fuck around, I don't pretend things are other than they are. I'm quite happy to deal with anything head on, and I know for a fact I will always come out on top. It is that simple. And that's why I don't back down. I don't fucking bend. I don't fucking buckle for no cunt or whatever. Now, all this other shit, further from there or whatever, do you know what I mean? I've shown people up for what they are. I've shown Jupiter for the lying sack of shit that she is. I've shown that all these people are related back to Hope Not Hate in one way, shape or form. These people have assisted in the fucking takedown of anything in support of Tommy, Team Tommy, people around Team Tommy. You name it, these cunts have done it. So, yeah. Like I say, quite a mixed bag or whatever. Now, I am going to put together a live tonight from previous. Now, I am aware that some bits may need editing out or whatever, so it's going to be quite a long process. So I'm not going to get it done. I'll get it done tonight, but I won't be airing it tonight. I'll have to air it tomorrow or something. Now, I've got another live of Danny's put up or whatever, so I'm going to run that tonight. People can comment in there or whatever. I'm trying to not block anyone. I'm trying to not block anybody. If you can be civil to each other in the comments and discuss whatever it is between yous, maybe you can mend a few fences. I don't know. I'm not expecting anything, but the opportunity's there for people, innit? That's all I'll say on my thing. Just don't dox each other. No fucking A1000, just, oh, dates, names, fucking addresses, blah, blah. I'm not entertaining that bullshit. If she carries on with that bullshit, I will just block her. I asked Kayla nicely when she put something, sensitive information there or whatever, a couple of weeks ago, and she's never done it since. Massive respect to Kayla. If you respect me, I'll respect you. It is that simple. If you just do a A1000 and just come out with all this dribble or whatever, yeah, you're probably going to get blocked. I haven't blocked her yet, but I may well do. But like I say, I don't want to block people. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Even a fucking fruitcake like A1000, she might have one bit of information that's, you know, like, that maybe somebody else has not got or whatever, and you think, oh, okay, that kind of completes that jigsaw now or whatever. Now we can see the bigger picture. I'm not saying she has, but do you know what I mean? For that reason, I don't like to block people, but when they're just doing madness and fucking trying to dox people and all that and chucking names around the internet and spitting baby food all over people, I'm not going to entertain that shit. Yeah, if you want to go and do all that madness, go and do it on Jupiter's or something. It's acceptable over there. Now, yeah, I think that's about it. The one I'm going to run tonight is right smack bang in the middle of Mandy Mosley's hate campaign, bullshit, fucking whatever. If Danny wants to be a little fanny or whatever, I'll probably get a strike for it or whatever. That's why I keep saying to people, the Mr. Rico 161 is the follow-on account, and if that one goes, Rude Awakening, I'll always keep popping back up or whatever. I've been used to this shit. This is why people in the past have been making me profiles for accounts and this, that and the other. It's one of them, innit? They must see something in me that they think, yeah, I want to support this. I don't want them to be able to just keep cancelling him or whatever. That's why people get behind you and help you or whatever. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if Danny West and Kayleigh can mend any fences. I don't know. Don't know if things have gone too far or I don't know. But the opportunity's there between you. You can comment, you can chat on comments and whatever. Just chill with chill with the abuse or any mad shit between you or whatever, and just try and be civil. I'm sure somewhere in the middle you'll have some common ground. Generally, if you've got two decent people that are in things for the right reasons, there will always be, even if it's just a little patch, there will be some common ground somewhere. If you can just kind of, stay on that or whatever, that can only be a good thing. Now, like I say, I'm gonna put, I'm gonna put forward this live now. It'll become clear with the live, realistically. I was put up I put myself up front as if you want to speak to whoever, if you want to go through evidence, if you want to be civil, etc., and go through the evidence, just so you can make up your own mind, your own opinion based on the facts, not the fiction, the facts. There'll always be a space for people that have been used in one way, shape or form, and my tactics has always been the same. Yeah, I'll go hard, I will go proper hard or whatever, as Wendy and Jupiter's finding out now or whatever. But like I've said, the moment you are willing to have the open, honest discussion and actually be honest about it or whatever, I'll let go. I'll always let go. Now, Kayleigh is the perfect example of that, as you will see with this live or whatever. The moment Kayleigh was receptive to the facts, not the fiction, and started to question things for herself, it was only a matter of weeks after that, after she was saying, okay, I seen this and I seen that, and I can see that it was behind something that wasn't what I thought it was, but I'm never going to call anyone out. I was used to the fact that many people don't want to call things out, they don't want to be attacked, blah blah blah. But by her own volition, Kayleigh did call out many things, many people. Do you know what I mean? Along the way. Now, it would have been the exact same with somebody like Wendy. It would have been the exact same with somebody like Jupiter. The thing is with Wendy and Jupiter, it's very different. They know what they're pushing is bullshit. They know what they're doing is wrong. They're doing it. They're playing the game from both ends of the pitch. That's why they can make friends, break friends, and all this bullshit in the middle, because they know it's all built on Billy bullshit, and they're playing for the same team at both ends of the field. Now, again, do you know what I mean? I've got enough life experience to be able to spot these things for what they are. Now, once myself and Kayleigh had got past all the bullshit and whatever, know what I mean? We've actually done quite a lot in the fucking rear view mirror of, you know, taking certain things to task. One of the people that you'll hear on the live, what I'm going to put forward, Eric the Brainless, I call him, from Rotherham. She realises that actually, yeah, you know, I was fighting his fight, this, that and the other, and that was full of shit. The moment somebody can acknowledge what they've been involved in was just shit, because we can look at the facts and the evidence or whatever, I let go. I will always let go. Now, that's about as much as I'm going to get into, to be honest. Plus my food's going cold, so yeah, that's all I'm going to say really. The live that I'm going to put forward tomorrow evening or tomorrow day, whatever, I'm not sure yet, we'll show you, we'll give you a lot of background information and whatever, and that's why realistically I've not got an issue with Kayleigh. I don't really think Kayleigh's got an issue with me. I think we've had some crossed wires. I think Kayleigh's been played off certain people along the way, and that's for Kayleigh to sort of figure out in the middle or whatever. Maybe myself and Kayleigh might have a live or something at some point in the future or something, and we can maybe put certain things to bed or whatever that might alleviate things for people like Danny West or whatever. I'm not sure, I don't know. I mean, I think myself and Kayleigh are quite on the same page of things, of unless somebody jumps on a panel and we can hear a voice and you can sort of fathom things yourself, you know, from the conversation that you have with a person or whatever, it's very hard to take these people at face value. You know, I think I've heard Kayleigh say, oh, Danny West is AJ or whatever. It's one of them. I can't say it is, and I can't say it isn't. I don't know. You know what I mean? Would Danny West be up for jumping on a panel? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Maybe some things will never get put to bed. You know, if it was me personally, I would jump on a panel. But, you know, that's up to Danny or whatever. I think Kayleigh would be up for that. I haven't asked her, but I'm gathering she would do. The thing is, I've never seen Kayleigh really after we spoke or whatever, around that King's Flag shit. I've never actually seen her run from shit. I've seen her quite the opposite, you know. She will fucking jump on and have it out with anybody. Now, I'm very aware that she was getting told not to by the King's Flag lot. Oh, don't speak with Den Tarrigan, blah blah blah. I know that she got in a bit of shit from the group for doing so, and it's pretty obvious to see why, because it all fell apart right after that happened. Once you post a girl of that cause or whatever agrees with the opposite side and has seen logic, sense and reason and can look at these things logically or whatever, then the game's up, innit, realistically. And that's why it kind of imploded, exploded at the same time. And then we had all the mad death threats. I think I had £1 trillion reward on my head. So when you've got Eric and fucking whoever putting £500 out for your address, it's like, it's pretty irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? But at the time, do you know what I mean? The amount of threats, the amount of fucking actual vans full of people turning up to fucking want something or whatever, it's not very good or whatever. But like I say, do you know what I mean? I'm really not the guy to. I'm not the guy that you fuck with or whatever. It won't go your way. That's just that. Yeah, I think that's about it. There's not really too much I can add to it. I'm going to run the live. I'm going to have to cut out a couple of sensitive things or whatever. I think it's about a 4-hour live or whatever. As you will see, it's far from fucking staged or whatever. It was, the one I'm going to put forward was pretty much a bit of a car crash, to be fair. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much. It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fact-filled. It's pretty fucking... It shows you root cause of problems and whatever, and you'll spot a lot of similarities between then and now. All you've got is a fresh supply of useful idiots around Wake Up UK. The fact that Danny's letting him fucking surf that fucking his comment section and whatever to try and entrap more useful idiots is beyond me. I think Danny Roscoe needs to have a word with Glenn Zaffer, if I'm honest, and Ginger Toner, because, do you know what I mean? We're not all wrong, and I think Danny's just misinformed or very low on information or just a bit thick. I don't know. But I know one thing. There will be no calling out from Team Tommy about me. That will never happen. I know that as fact. So, yeah. For all the people that think he's a fucking whatever behind Jupiter and behind when, it's not going to end well. That's all I will say on the matter. I always take people to task. It is that simple. I am like a dog with a bone, and I won't let go until, like I've just said, once I hit reality and go, right, okay, let's examine the facts, let's go over the evidence, let's whatever, and now we can build a fresh opinion, a healthy opinion based on the facts. Until that happens, I don't let go. See, Wendy's trying to leave the battlefield. Oh, I'm gonna block you, but then she's put loads of comments on today's live thing. I know she's been told off by Jupiter, which would have been relayed through Wake Up UK. This is what I mean. You'll notice patterns where they can't argue a point. They've got nothing to argue with, and they know that I've got the facts and the evidence. That's their resort. Don't speak to them, block them, and just ignore them and hope it goes away. I don't go away. I honestly don't. At the end of the day, if people had something of worth or whatever, they'd do a head-to-head, and then, you know, the person with the fucking winning formula, if you like, the facts and the evidence or whatever, will come out on top. They don't want that to happen. You need to question why they wouldn't want that to happen. As I said, you will spot many similarities. Right, enjoy, look after each other, stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.